All right, welcome everybody to this webinar about Provision-ISR's competitive edge. My name is NVR Triggers, and let's get started. When it comes to CCTV systems, the truth is that most manufacturers today offer very similar features and functionality. So that makes it harder than ever to stand out. May I ask, sorry, Christian, may I ask you just to mute yourself? Okay, just 1 second. Okay, so sorry, let me start again. When it comes to CCTV systems, most manufacturers today offer very similar features and functionalities, and that makes it harder than ever to stand out in a very crowded market. This is exactly why we're focusing on this topic today. So in this session, I want to highlight the small but powerful features that give Provision-ISR a real competitive edge. You are probably going to recognize many of the features that we'll touch on today, things that you've obviously seen plenty times before. But the goal here is actually to show you how these features are implemented differently and why they matter in real world applications. So the idea is actually simple. If someone asks you, why should I go with Provision-ISR? You'll have a clear and confident answer. Whether you're in sales, support, system design, the session is designed to give you the tools to explain exactly what sets us apart. So 1 second. Right, so let's begin with cybersecurity. So now I'm not going to spend a long time here because at this point everybody already knows. Provision-ISR is the only CCTV manufacturer with a direct cyber partnership with Checkpoint. We've mentioned it in brochures, videos, meetings, you name it. But it's worth reminding why it actually matters. This collaboration means that our devices aren't just secure, they're actively protected. We're not relying on basic password policies or firewalls. We're backed by one of the most trusted names in cyber defense. So while others are just starting to take cybersecurity seriously, we've been living it with real-time protection, firmware integrity checks, and cloud communications that are encrypted and secured by design. This is not compliance. That is a massive competitive edge. And the same goes for NDAA and GDPR. It's a well-known fact that Provision-ISR is fully compliant with both, but more than just ticking the boxes. Our commitment to NDAA and GDPR means that we build security and privacy right into the products from the ground up. So this ensures that when you choose Provision-ISR, you're getting solutions that not only meet today's strict regulations, but are also designed to adapt as standards evolve, giving you lasting confidence and peace of mind. Another topic that I want to talk about is a very important feature, which is NVR triggers. So a trigger is basically a set of actions that you can execute when an event occurs. That event could be something smart, like an AI event, like say line crossing, or even something basic like motion detection or a physical alarm input. Now, like most of our competitors, Provision-ISR lets you configure a range of actions. You can send a push notification, you can send an email, you can start recording on multiple channels, you can pop up videos, you can even activate custom voice messages on connected speakers. But where do we actually stand out? What is our competitive edge? No matter the event type, you can activate up to 16 alarm outputs, and these just aren't the outputs from the NVR itself. We're talking about any connected device, naturally the NVR itself, but any camera with an alarm output, so any camera that's connected to the NVR with an alarm output, or even one of our PoE-powered I/O extension boxes. So that last one, the PoE I/O extension box, is especially useful when you need to trigger things like gate motors or sirens at a distance, maybe along a perimeter, far from the NVR. With Provision-ISR, you're not limited by location or hardware. And that's not all. Another competitive edge is the ability to configure connected PTZs to automatically move to a predefined preset. So let's say you have a fixed camera with line crossing at the entrance of a loading bay. When a person or a vehicle is detected after hours, which is maybe something unusual, You can configure the system to automatically trigger a PTZ camera on the rooftop, which will move to a specific preset that overlooks the entire loading area. This gives security staff immediate visual context from a better angle without any manual input or manual control. I have a quick video showcasing the setup of these triggers. So no matter what analytic you're trying to configure, it could be obviously an AI analytic, line crossing, sterile area to the most advanced, or even basic motion detection, you're always going to have the ability to configure action, a trigger. And the triggers options are always going to be the same. So you can have, just like any of our competitors, the general triggers, which you can simply toggle on and off. If you want the feature on or off, just simply tick it. Okay, you can also record not just from the camera that detected the event, but from any camera from our system. So you may want to select multiple cameras to give you a better perspective of the event. And this is where our competitive edge begins. You're able to configure up to 16 alarm outputs. And again, the alarm outputs can be from the NVR itself, which are the first four on the page here, and the rest are from all connected devices or connected cameras with alarm outputs available on those devices. What's also nice about the system is that you can customize the names of these outputs. So if you're configuring a light or a door, etc., you can actually custom name the output so you know exactly what you're triggering. And the next competitive edge is the PTZ preset. So if you've got any PTZs and you've configured presets, they'll automatically appear on the trigger page where you can select from any of the presets for the PTZ to move to automatically. And then if you've got any IP speakers, you can upload custom voice or custom messages, which you can trigger as well. So just on this line crossing, simple line crossing rule, I'm going to have a snapshot taken. I'm going to send a push notification to the application. I'm going to do a video pop up on the NVR. I'm going to send an email. I can send an email to multiple recipients. I'm going to record on these 5 cameras. I can trigger 16 alarm outputs. And remember, I can connect third-party devices to these outputs like cameras, gate motors, strobes, sirens, etc. And my PTZ is going to move to preset 1, and my IP speaker is going to play this male angry voice sound, all from just one line crossing analytic. I want to talk about a very interesting and powerful feature in Provision-ISR's analytic toolbox, which is combined alert. Uh, Once again, I think you guys have heard about this. I've spoken about it quite a lot, but just to recap, think of it as kind of automation rule, similar to a logical if statement. So if event happens from source 1, and at the same time event B happens from source 2, only then create an event and then trigger an action. So in our system, this means that 2 or more conditions must be met simultaneously for a trigger or an alarm to occur. We call this a combined alert. So this level of logic gives you much more control over how and when alerts are triggered, helping you reduce false alarms and improve your system's intelligence. It's a capability that we believe is quite unique to Provision-ISR, which is obviously a big competitive edge. In terms of what kind of events can we combine, there are quite a few. So you could combine sensor inputs, for example, door contact and a PIR sensor that need to trigger at the same time in order for an event to occur. It could
Oh, I didn't know
be
you
a
could do
DD.
that.
Hey, Roy. It could be I'll explain to you, Roy, after the session. It could be a combination of DDA line crossing from 2 different cameras. It could be a mix of line crossing from one camera, sterile area detection from another camera. You could even combine face recognition results with the sensor input. The key point is that all selected conditions must occur at the same time in order for the system to generate a reaction, whether it's an alarm, it's a notification, an output trigger, or something else. So I want to walk you through a real world scenario We were tasked with capturing snapshots of license plates at an intersection, but only in specific situations. So either when a vehicle drives through a red light or when it stops over the white line while the light is actually red. Now, we had a big challenge. The challenge was we needed to avoid taking snapshots when the traffic light is green. So, and obviously, in order to prevent false triggers and unnecessary storage. So, how do we actually resolve it? We resolved it by using a combined alert rule. So, let me explain. Condition one was the AI line crossing analytic, set up to detect when a vehicle crosses the stop line or enters into the intersection. Condition number two came from a sensor input connected to the traffic light, specifically a relay that closes when the traffic light turns red. Now, it's important to remember only when both conditions are met, the system will register an event and trigger an action. So in the current state, there's neither condition is actually fully met because there are no vehicles that have crossed or crossing the line, and the traffic light is green, so it's not red. So let's just say hypothetically, when a car does eventually come across the line, that's just one part of the puzzle. Only one condition is met, so no event occurs and there is no trigger. Okay. Now let's look at what happens when both conditions are met. So first of all, we're going to wait for the traffic light to turn red, and this will close the relay and activate the sensor input, and that's condition one taken care of. Next, a vehicle stops over the white line, triggering condition number two, the AI line crossing detection. With both conditions now active, the system registers as an event, and in this case, we configured it to capture a snapshot of a license plate using an LPR camera. So by combining these two conditions, we ensure that snapshots are only taken at the right moment when a vehicle crosses or stops improperly and the traffic light is obviously red. And this approach delivers high accuracy and avoids the false triggers during green lights and gives us or gave the clients only critical evidence that they needed. Hope that makes sense. Okay, next I want to talk about voice broadcasting. With the majority of manufacturers, you can broadcast voice messages through connected speakers on your NVR or VMS platforms. And with Provision-ISR, of course, you can do the same. So what is our competitive edge? Users can actually group audio devices and broadcast in real-time audio messages to multiple connected IP or analog horn speakers. So this, once again, can be done through various platforms like our NVR or VMS using a connected microphone. And for example, users can instantly deliver announcements to a specific floor of a building, to a targeted zone within a shopping mall or a hospital or an office block. Okay, another big competitive edge is we offer the ability to enroll faces and license plates directly into the NVR's database. So once your face and license plate databases are configured to your NVR, you can use the Provision-ISR mobile application as an enrollment reader. So that means there's no need to access the NVR directly. There's no complicated setup. There's no extra steps. It's super straightforward. Just a couple of taps on your phone and you're literally done. And I want to show you how easy it is for those of you who have not seen it before. Let's start with adding a face to the database. So now we had Donald Trump coming to visit Provision-ISR's offices. So before Donald Trump arrived at the office, I took the liberty of finding a snapshot of him on the internet. And with that snapshot, I'm going to use the mobile application to upload his face as a record from directly from the app to the NVR. So when he arrived at the office, it automatically opened up the door. So what I'm going to do is click on the three dots on the bottom of the application and go to add a new person. The system will prompt the camera first. So naturally, you can take a picture of a person standing in front of you if you wanted to. But in this case, I wanted to upload from our phone's gallery. So we give you the ability to load from the phone's gallery as well. So once I've selected the image that I wanted to upload, I put in the details or his name, whatever other information I wanted to input, I could have. And then over here, where it says group, it will list all the existing databases on my NVR for me to choose where I wanted to add Mr. Donald Trump to. So I know that I wanted Mr. Donald Trump to have the same permissions as the sales department. So I added Donald Trump to the sales department's face database group, and within a second, his face is uploaded, and whatever rules applied to the sales department database group would have applied to Donald Trump as soon as he arrived at the Provision-ISR's office. It's a similar concept and principle with loading a license plate to an existing database. What you're going to do is if you've got multiple devices, you're going to select the device you want to add it to. And you're going to click on the three dots on the bottom and you're going to go add license plate. Now the system's going to prompt you to add a license plate, which is a mandatory field naturally. So you input the person's license plate, and then the car model, owner, etc. are all voluntary fields. And then you'll see here where it says, where it says group. You can select from any existing group. Once I've selected the group I want to add this license plate to, I hit save, and once again, whatever rules are configured for that group will apply to this license plate that I've just uploaded within a matter of seconds. It's a very handy and nifty device, and a lot of people compliment us on it. Okay, the next competitive edge that I want to highlight is the ability to track a person's movement based on face recognition results right from the Provision-ISR NVR. And this is how it works. You simply upload an image of your establishment, for example, the floor plan, okay? And then you place your cameras on the map according to the real life locations. So now when you run face recognition results, the system doesn't just show you static snapshots. It actually actively displays the person's movement across the sites on the EMAP while playing the events back on the bottom left hand of the page. So this becomes an incredibly powerful tool for post-event investigations. Instead of jumping between cameras and guessing movement patterns, operators can now quickly trace someone's exact path and understand their presence across the monitored area, all in just a few clicks. I want to give you a hypothetical situation where you can use this in a practical scenario. Let's say you've got an employee that's arriving early, he's leaving late, he's going into areas in the office that he's not supposed to be going to, he's distracting employees. HR haven't received a complaint from his line manager, decided to utilize the NVR and face detection and recognition with EMAP to address this person's behavior. So let's go see exactly what HR did. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a head cold. If you hear me sniffing, I apologize. So first of all, everything begins with searching for results. So when you go to the analytics search, you're going to be confronted with searching by face, and we only have to load a target picture. So now a target picture can come from multiple places. It can come from an existing database, so from known people. It can even come from a snapshot gallery. So a snapshot gallery basically is the NVR allows you to search for all face detection events that the system has captured. All right. Doesn't necessarily mean that these people are on a database. It just means it knows it's a face. It doesn't know which face it is. So this way you can actually search for people that are not on the database. So you can utilize the same feature for people that are not on a database, so basically for strangers. And then if you want to upload an image from an external source, you can do that as well. But because this person was an employee, naturally they would be on a database. So HR went and selected the person from the database and they hit search. And they're searching for us on a specific day, the 22nd of August, and all the results come up for that specific date range. Now what you're looking at are all the snapshots, and with the snap time, which camera captured the event, and also the percentage, a percentage. So the percentage actually means how sure is the NVR that the event snapshot matches the target picture. Okay, in this case, a database picture. So it's 100% certain that this event is that person from the database. Naturally, the higher the percentage, the more accurate your results are going to be. So just like any of our analytics searches, you can click on it to get a little preview on the bottom left. You can click on the three dots to bring up more details. If you've got multiple results, you can actually scroll through them by clicking next and previous, and then hit playback to go to full screen and review the event. Now, HR wanted to leverage, he wanted a different perspective. They wanted to leverage the EMAP based on these search results. So we already uploaded the floor plan of the office into our NVR, and we had already placed the cameras in real life. So based on these search results, now HR are going to go track with the help of an EMAP. So there's two things you can do with the EMAP. You can first of all push play, and it will do playback. So first of all, it flashes indicating on the EMAP which camera is actually playing the event while playing the event on the bottom left. And it will move in chronological order to the next event, where again flashing when that event occurs. Or if you want to see from a different perspective by line, you can go track by line, and you can see that he went from front door to main passage to 80 showroom to DR340, then to second floor, but he's not allowed to be on second floor. And why is he hovering between second floor and main passage? So with this information, this evidence, they presented it to the employee, and the employee's behavior was immediately fixed. Okay. I want to ask you guys a question, and we're halfway through the presentation. Have you ever had a situation where something's happened, like someone's thrown trash outside your apartment building, and you just need to know who did it? But here's the problem. It's not an AI object detectable event like a person or a vehicle, and you definitely don't have time and patience to go through hours of motion recording. So here is our competitive edge, which is search by time slice, because this is exactly where search by time slice, or as we like to call it, human eye analytic, really shines. It lets you scan long periods of footage visually in a matter of seconds by breaking recordings into thumbnails by time. So with three simple steps, you can simply scroll through and spot the moment yourself. Very fast, incredibly effective for events that just AI just cannot catch. So let me show you, give you a real world example of where we can utilize this search by time slice. Let's just say you're tasked to identify when a vehicle first arrived in the parking lot on a specific day of the month. We can go utilize the search by time slice function for that. So we can go to search and backup. By default, it will take us to the search by time slice option, where you can search by camera, or you can search by, sorry, time or camera. So let's just say we understand that it happened on a back parking lot camera. So we can double click on that. And now we're going to be presented with one snapshot for every day of the month. So 31, between 28 and 31 snapshots, depending on which month you're searching for. Now we're tasked to search for an event that occurred on the 30th. So we're going to double click on the 30th of the month. Now we're going to be presented with 24 snapshots, obviously one snapshot for every hour of that day. Scanning your eyes visually, you can actually see, okay, the car appeared at 8 a.m., but wasn't there at 7 a.m. So naturally, the car must have arrived between 7 and 8 a.m. So what we're going to go do is double click on 7 a.m. To break it down even further. It breaks it down into 60 snapshots, one snapshot for every minute of that hour. And what we can see with that, we can look with our eyes, and we can actually see that at 7:32 the car wasn't there, but at 7:33 the car was there. So naturally, logically, the car must have arrived between 7:32 and 7:33. So all we need to do is double click on 7:32 snapshot, and we've got 1 minute of footage to review instead of going through hours and hours of motion or scheduled recording. Yeah, I want to stick to a similar theme. I'm not too sure if some of you guys actually know about this search. You guys haven't really engaged with me in our dealings, but let's see. I want you to imagine a scenario where you configured AI analytics like your line crossing or stereo area detection, but someone's been dumping, excuse me, someone's been dumping boxes just outside the defined area. So no AI event has actually been triggered. Now, you want to go back and obviously review the footage, but since it didn't trigger an AI event, you can't rely on AI search. The thought of searching through hours of recording is daunting, frustrating, and obviously very time consuming. But there's no problem because this is where Provision-ISR gives us a real competitive edge with our smart search capability. So we offer a powerful smart search feature that lets you look for motion events in a specific area within the field of view. Okay, all we need to do is highlight the area that you want to focus on, and the system will actually mark the relevant activity on the timeline with blue indicators. Why is this useful? Because it will dramatically shorten the time needed to find specific incidents by showing only what happened in the exact spot that you're interested in. So I want to show you how to use one of our most underrated features, which is Smart Search. We're going to jump into the playback menu to begin. Now, I'm not too sure if you've ever noticed that there's the Smart Playback icon right over here. Okay, and watch what happens when I click it. The timeline immediately changes. So instead of showing all the recordings in different colors, it highlights only motion events in blue. So everything in between, non-motion or continuous recording or AI recordings is marked in white and defined as common. And it gets even better because you can filter down even further by simply removing all the common recordings. So which obviously makes your search a lot more focused. Now let's deep dive into the real smart part. I want you to click on that same icon, now labeled motion, and choose to draw a grid. So this lets you draw a specific area within the camera's field of view. And as soon as I do it, sorry. As soon as I do it, the timeline updates again, only showing motion events that have occurred within that area you've just defined. Okay, now I want to show you a real world example. Okay, so you've had an incident where someone was dumping boxes in the far corner of a loading zone outside of your defined AI rules. You can simply draw the box around that spot, and the timeline will automatically adjust to show only motion events that have happened within that exact area. Now, when you hit play, the NVR will automatically skip from one irrelevant event to the next, and there's no more scrubbing through hours of footage. And sure enough, here comes Ilan. He's caught red-handed, being a little naughty boy, dumping his empty boxes where they shouldn't belong. And you can actually see now how efficient and focused and time-saving the smart search really is. Okay. Next, I want to talk about custom recording retention per camera. With Provision-ISR, you can actually define how long each camera stores its recordings individually. This gives you full control over storage strategy, keeping footage from high priority areas for extended periods, while allowing less critical cameras to auto override over a few days. It's a smart way to manage your storage efficiently, and also for those in Europe, even stay aligned with the GDPR guidelines. In a practical scenario, like more critical cameras, like overseeing a cashier, you may want to have recording for longer than non-essential cameras such as a backdoor. So our system lets you decide on every channel what you want the recording retention to be. It's really your choice, and it is a big competitive edge. It's also very simple to configure within the recording settings. Once your cameras have been added, it's literally as simple as selecting the recording expiration time via drop-down menus. Now, I want to talk about backing up footage. This is something that should be incredibly simple, but some of our competitors still manage to overcomplicate it. This is exactly where Provision-ISR gives you a real competitive edge. Our backup process is designed for speed and simplicity. In fact, it's actually as simple as 2 clicks. So first click is to select your channels and your time range, and just drag over the timeline. And the second click is to hit backup. We also don't stop there. You can back up multiple channels at once using the same method. And on top of that, you can run multiple backup tasks in the background. So while one export is in progress, you can already start preparing the next, saving valuable time during critical investigations. Continuing with the topic of backing up footage, Provision-ISR also gives you the option to export recorded video in a proprietary, private, encrypted format. So what does it actually mean in practical terms? It means during the export process, you can actually set a password. So only authorized users can play back the footage. This adds an extra layer of security, especially important when dealing with sensitive incidents. And we don't stop there either. When exporting in this format, we also provide you with a built-in video player with the backup file. This player actually mimics the NVR's playback environment, giving you a familiar multi-channel view and timeline control, just like you'd see using the NVR recorder. So even when the footage is taken off site, you don't lose the actual usability or the control. It's secure, it's very simple, it's very consistent, and it's another strong competitive edge from Provision-ISR. And I want to show you how. So naturally, to back up footage, the first step is to get into playback mode. Once we're in playback, you're going to notice the timeline appear on the right-hand side of the screen. First click is to highlight your desired backup range, and then drag your start and endpoints across the timeline. It's also important to understand that each timeline represents a different channel. So if you drag across multiple timelines, you're actually selecting multiple cameras to back up simultaneously, which is obviously very efficient. Okay. The second click is to hit the backup button at the bottom. At this point, you'll select the destination folder on your flash drive, and you can choose your preferred export format, being private protocol, MP4, or AVI. Just a quick side note, encryption is only available when using the private protocol format. But once you confirm your backup, you have the option to select if you want to do encryption. If you do, the system will prompt you to set a password for secured backup. For this demo, I'm actually going to just skip encryption. I'm just going to do a non-encryption backup. And when the backup starts, you have the option to run it in the background, which allows you to continue using the NVR for other functions, including starting additional backups if required. So I'm going to run multiple simultaneous backups. Just give you an example. And the system will queue the backups. If you need to check on the progress at any time, you can go to the backup menu and then select backup status to give you an update of where your backups are. Again, this is very fast, flexible, designed for real world use. Let's focus on a GDPR compliant function, which is selective events deletion. So Provision-ISR offers a privacy-focused feature designed to support GDPR compliance, the ability to delete specific recorded events without affecting the rest of the footage. This means that if a user requests the removal of a particular video clip where they appear, such as a face or license plate captured by the system, you can easily locate that event and delete that segment only. So instead of formatting the entire recording or compromising other data, and I want to show you how it's done. So first of all, you're going to go to the search and backup by time menu. Once you're in there, you're going to select your camera and date range, and then click and drag your mouse over the timeline to select the segment you needed for deletion. And then you're going to click the delete button. Depending on obviously how long the deletion period is, you'll wait a moment, and then the specific section of recording will be deleted without compromising the rest of your data. So this selective deletion capability ensures you meet data protection regulations while maintaining the integrity of your video archives. Also, Provision-ISR NVRs offer HDD encryption, which protects sensitive video data in case of a theft. So once enabled, the hard drive is encrypted with a password. If someone removes the hard drive and tries to access it using another NVR or docking station, they won't be able to view or extract any footage without entering the correct password. So this feature ensures that even if the device is stolen, the recorded data remains secure and inaccessible to unauthorized users. I want to show you how simple it is to set up. Let you set it up within a few seconds. Go to the menu of our NVR, click on settings, locate where it says disk, go to disk management, and within this menu, you're going to get a list of all hard drives that are connected to your NVR and whether they are encrypted or decrypted. As you can see, the one hard drive that's currently connected to my NVR is currently decrypted. So in order to encrypt it, literally go to the bottom of the page, bottom right, and select encrypt data. The system is going to prompt you to input a password for the encryption. And then naturally, to confirm the encryption, you're going to have to input the administration information as well. And literally within a few seconds, I have a very highly secured hard drive. We're almost finished. I've got two more topics to go through. So just bear with me. The next topic is simplified remote support. So have you ever been right in the middle of an installation, halfway up a pole, cables everywhere, and suddenly your phone rings? It's a client with an urgent and totally unreasonable request. They want you to drop everything and rush to their site, which wastes hours on the road. So now with Provision-ISR, those days are over. Support has become much faster and easier and remote, which is very important. So you can stay focused on the job at hand while still keeping all your clients happy. You can connect remotely to your client's NVR via our cloud website or CAM2 application, ultimately giving you a huge competitive edge. So remote support couldn't be simpler with the CAM2 application. Once the device is added to your app, all you need to do is actually tap on the menu icon at the top left and go to the remote settings and select the NVR. And just like that, all the settings are right there at your fingertips. You can add cameras, you can delete cameras, you can change IP addresses, you can set up recording parameters. You can even configure triggers for analytic and motion detection rules. You can change triggers, you can change schedules for triggers. Now you can even configure and draw line crossing and sterile area rules as well from the application. All right. But if you want the full experience, like working on the NVR locally, simply grab your laptop, open up your browser, head to provisionisr-cloud.com. All you need to input is the client's the client's NVR serial number, username and password. And once you're logged in, the interface looks and feels almost identical to what you'd see on site, giving you full access to everything that you could possibly need. Image settings, analytics configurations, database management, all remotely, all obviously in real time. So either using the CAM2 mobile application or cloud website, there's no need to be on site. There's no delays. It's very quick. It's very efficient to access anytime. Okay, the next topic is all about camera password resets. What could be more frustrating than needing to reset a camera password because it has been forgotten? So, with the majority of third-party manufacturers or installers need to wait on support teams, or even sometimes take it out the camera completely and take it to a distributor. It's a very slow and time consuming, money draining process. With Provision-ISR, it's the complete opposite. Resetting the camera requires three simple, quick steps. There's no need to actually remove it or even contact technical support, which ultimately saves you money and time and improves your service delivery, which naturally gives you a huge competitive edge. Here is how it's done. Step one is to open up your configuration tool on your laptop and select the camera and choose to do a password reset. The next step is to power off the camera within 30 seconds. So you can simply unplug it from a switch. And then once that's done, power it back on. And that's it. The reset is complete. You can input and create a new password. This process saves you obviously a lot of time compared to other brands where installers often have to wait on support teams. With Provision-ISR, installers can actually handle it themselves anytime, anywhere with no reliance on any tech support. This is the last topic of the day, and it's related to user permission management. So just like many of our competitors, Provision-ISR offers advanced control over user access, both for local and remote connections. You can create a custom user role with specific permissions, allowing you actually to define exactly which settings and functions each user can access for either local or remote interfaces. This flexibility also extends to individual cameras. So if you want to choose which cameras a user can view or control, basically. So where is Provision-ISR's competitive edge? We extend this customization to PTZ control, where you can restrict users to only have the ability to control the PTZ from the local interface and have no control from remote interfaces like a cam to application, for example. And the same goes for regarding to listening to audio coming from the devices. We give you the ability to select if a user can listen to audio coming from the microphone for both the local and remote interfaces. Here's an example of the NVR interface where you can configure permission group control. Simple and efficient, toggle things on and off wherever you need to. Excuse. All right, guys, thank you very much for paying attention and listening to me. That's the end of the presentation. I want to thank you all for joining, and I'll see you next time.